The prison program you're about to view consists of strong subject matter such as rape, gang fights, stabbings, police corruption, and extortion. Due to the nature and language of the program, viewer discretion is advised.
There are over 2 million inmates in American prisons, state and federal. The stories you're about to hear are from men and women, ex-cons, felons, and convicts who witnessed and survived through rapes, slashings, gang violence, and extortion during their time in America's most dangerous prison systems. Prison X was created to give the viewer a first-person look at prison life during an inmate's most vulnerable time. These are not actors or actresses playing a part. All the stories told are 100% real. We were warned that it could be serious repercussions if these stories are released. Prison X is the evolution of Scared Straight, with stories being told from outside of prison walls.
What it do? I'm there with Hubbard, aka Willie Dutch, or as I was known in federal prison, inmate number 13634-179. Just days away from the 1-year anniversary of my homecoming after spending 9 years, 2 months, and 5 days in federal prison. Been to different joints, Beaumont, aka Bloody Beaumont. Seagoville, Texas. Finished out my bid in Florence, Colorado. Of course, you know, during 9 years, I have a lot of stories to tell, but you know, one stands out more so than the others because I'm reminded of it every day, which is the reason why I wear this glove. I got approached by a guy from my city. You know, we was doing time at this time in Beaumont, you know, and for lack of a better term, we'll just call him Gump number 1. So Gump number 1, he approached me about asking for a favor. You know, I was in a cell by myself, so he had somebody, you know, that, you know, didn't have a cell to go to. Guy was from Florence, Colorado, and you know, he basically asked me to let the guy move in for a week or two until the guy can get settled. At the same time, Gump number 1, he was known for, you know, selling cigarettes. This was the time when, you know, tobacco got removed from federal prison. So, you know, I let him come in with the understanding that, you know, he wouldn't bring any shit into my cell because, you know, at the time I'm doing my thing too. So, you know, it's not enough room for 2 hustlers in one cell. I'm asleep on the bottom bunk one day. The guy, he's sleeping up top. And all of a sudden I hear something fall and hit my bed. And so I look and see what it was. And, you know, it was roughly 10 packs of cigarettes wrapped in cellophane, you know, which at that time was roughly $1,000. So I find it the first time and, you know, I take it back to Gump number 1. And I'm like, man, I told you, you know, I'm gonna do this favor for you, but don't bring this into my cell. So I give him the shit back. Not even a week later, you know, I'm going through my cell, I'm cleaning up and whatnot. I find some more cigarettes. So at this point, you know, I feel violated. I feel like he not respecting my mind, nor my cell.
Man, what's up with you in squares, man?
Shit, what squares?
Come on.
Ain't no squares. Ain't no squares, bro. Them my squares. I told you that shit in my cell twice, fam. So, you know, I did what anybody in my position would do, and I took the cigarettes. You know, instead of him being a man and approaching me about it, you know, he go to the so-called shot callers for the Houston car at the time, and, you know, they have a meeting and decide that I should give the cigarettes back and whatnot, but, you know, of course I wasn't trying to hear none of that. So I took them. I go into my cell, I'm kicking, you know, Gump number 2 out of my cell. I'm like, I bring these cigarettes in my cell, fam. You better have no time to take these. He said something that I didn't like, so at the end of the day, I just remember taking off on him and hit him maybe 1-2 times and blooded his nose in his situation, and they broke it up. We go down to the day room, and Gump number 1, the cat from Houston or whatnot, he barking and talking. He run to his cell, and he come out his cell, and he got something hanging out his pocket that looked like a do-rag. And that's what we used to do in the joint. When you got your thing, your shank, or whatever you want to call it, you're gonna tie it with something so you don't lose it in a knife fight. So I see that hanging out his pocket, so I go get mine. So I meet him in the day room. He come down one set of stairs, I come down another set of stairs, and we meet in the day room. And when I up my thing, and he did some shit I didn't believe. He screamed. He got a weapon, which at this point I feel like he calling the CO on me. So I threw my joint across the floor, slid it to my dude, and just square up with him. But I'm getting the best of him, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, while I'm fighting him, at this time, Gump number 2 had came down. He recovered from his wounds or whatever, so he come down. He come out of nowhere with a chair and sling it at me. I knocked the chair down and pick up the chair and hit him in the back with the chair and knock him down. And at this time, a couple of my partners had grabbed the other cats. The last thing I really remember is getting on top of him. I guess I had one of those situations where they say you have blind rage, because I couldn't remember nothing from that point on until the COs grabbed me up off of him. They came in maybe 15 deep and separated us. He was still on the ground. And after the fact, they took us to the SHU, Special Housing Unit, which is the equivalent of the hold for federal inmates. They took us to the SHU and they started describing what happened, man. And all they were saying is that I was just on top of the dude, bashing his head into the concrete to where his head was swollen and his face was bloody, and both of my hands were swollen as well. And that's when I noticed that my bone had broke, and later on the x-rays showed that my bone in my hand had broke so severely that it was creating a literal X in my hand and protruding from out my hand. So for anybody that's ever been incarcerated, y'all know that medical attention is few and far between in the system. And now I'm forced to wear this glove, which is a compression glove, to stop my tendon from popping back and forth over my bone, because my bone healed incorrectly.
While Willie Dutch spent 45 days in the SHU, he began to receive death threats, and rival inmates sending kites to keep him in the SHU much longer. On his release, Willie felt he needed to approach his rivals for some unfinished business.
I didn't feel like it was over. So, I approached the guys on the yard, trying to, see if we can come to some type of resolution. I still felt like, I didn't get it in, and they still felt like I owed something. Then the guy, he approached me and he was like, man, I just want to squash it. I tell you what, you get half, I get half. And immediately when he said that was a sign of weakness, because in the system, it's either you eat or you get ate. It wasn't even a month later, Gump number 2, the officers, they made their rounds, 12, 15, 4 in the morning, things of that nature. Come to find out, Gump number 2 got caught in a situation where one of the COs ran up on his cell and seen his new cellie him in the ass. So once that come out, we like, damn, everybody like, damn, dude must be gay. And all of a sudden, one of the known punks from the yard, he exposed dude via a kite that, he had wrote to him and whatnot, that, dude was gay all along. So at that point, I went from being, somewhat of a villain to a hero, because now everybody like, this been the same dude, Florida, and like he this and he's Addy and this gang and that gang, and all the time he punks. Not only that, the CO that he was getting the cigarettes from that I took, come to find out, when she found out he was fucking Gumps, she got at some more guys on the yard or whatnot and allegedly put a hit out on the nigga. And the nigga catch PC and ended up, turning state against the CO, getting her 20-some months in federal prison for bringing cigarettes in on the yard and for his claims that, you know, she was trying to have him killed.
Prison X was created to give the viewer a first-person look at prison life during an inmate's most vulnerable time. These are not actors or actresses playing a part. All the stories told are 100% real. We were warned that it could be serious repercussions if these stories are released.
Next time on Prison X.
So they were holding me down, and I couldn't move. And first they took off my pants, and then they took off my panties, and they took off my shirt and wrapped it around my throat and my head, and I couldn't.
This is Prison X.